Hello, thank you for joining me again. If this is your first time, welcome. I am Rachel, and welcome to another episode of the Commanding Life podcast. And we're about to have an amazing conversation with Melissa. Let's go. Hello, Melissa. Welcome to our podcast. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling amazing. Thank you so much for having me, Rachel.
Awesome. Thank you for being here. It is absolutely my honor and pleasure that you are here to align, right, and flow. So, what do you want to work on or talk about or just kind of like get more clarity on today?
Absolutely. I think for me, my biggest issue or things that I want to is like personal growth, like really looking internally on how I can be better externally so I can elevate myself to that next level. Career-wise, because I'm kind of looking and want to focus more on entrepreneurship. And I want to be in that sort of realm, but then even to transition to that and just being really, it's me leading myself, and it's scary. It's just something that, yeah, I don't know, just build on skills and just being able to be confident with me and what I have, what I bring to the table, what does that look like, and being okay with not feeling the imposter syndrome that everyone kind of like talks about, of like, you're sitting at the table, are you worthy of being there? Do you have the right skill sets and stuff like that as I progress in my career where I'm at, but also trying to branch off a little bit to do more of my own niche of what I'm really into.
So you said a couple of words, scared. So we're hearing fear. So it's fear of, and then you use the word imposter syndrome. So why do you think, despite all that you have achieved, and I don't know what you have achieved, you've achieved something, right? So despite everything that you have achieved, why do you think, first off, why don't you believe that was all you?
Um, I think it's the scared part is being able to like move from comfortability to being uncomfortable so that I can grow into my better self or my best self. And I think thank you. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
And I think that the other part, so that's the scare factor for me, because
Is
I
it
don't know.
you're scared of being uncomfortable or you want to be more uncomfortable?
I don't like feeling uncomfortable. But to be honest, and this is just a character trait, is I would rather I feel uncomfortable than make others uncomfortable around me. So I'd rather take it on, but that's because I'm forced to, not because I want to. And if it's to look at it, if I'm going to better myself or try to do more personal growth kind of aspect, career growth, um, I am choosing to put myself and make myself more uncomfortable in order for me to elevate. But it's hard. It's scary. It's just, yeah, it's just uncomfortable for me. And
Is the fear part of it, is it truly your capabilities or the fear of the unknown and your response to the unknown? Because so it sounds like you came on here and you have multiple things. So I'm trying to get to the root of, but honestly, if I had to say one word, is you like to control. I feel like that's the word that will sum up everything that you're trying to say to me, is you want to be in control of everything all the time, where I'm going, and I want to master control so I can achieve more and more and more. So it's fear of losing control, right? And fear of not being able to control. I think it's not a capability concern, right? Because you're saying, I want more. I can handle more. I'm capable. So I'm hearing in between what you're saying, but I am afraid because I know I can handle it, but I want to know what I'm handling. Am I hitting it on the head?
Oh my goodness, you hit it exactly on the head. I think that's, and you know, I personally don't look at myself and say like I am a person that wants to be in control or a control freak in that. I don't classify myself as such. But honestly, when I do think about things and describe, I do like things or want things in particular way or progression, and I have a plan. There's a plan on how to get there or to do something, and and I'm not opposed to getting supports and help and bringing what you need, but like I'm okay with you doing it how you would like to do it, but like you have to stick to the plan. Like I need to know this, you're still on the same page of the plan. So yes, I could definitely take that and say you are correct. And
There's a negative, so you're also trying to explain to me why you think control is important because you want to be in control of how I interpret what you're saying as well, right? So so it's like, don't take control how other people, this is control. And I am right now pleading or justifying my addiction to controlling everything in my life because, I want to be in control now. So I'm going to ask you this question. How do you feel when things are out of your control? Which probably your response is going to be, I feel out of control. But like, let's go a little bit more. When things aren't going your way,
Mhm.
that creates an emotion within you. And it's, how do you feel?
Honestly, I think it just makes me really feel very vulnerable. I am at this point, like, the happiness of what I'm looking for with that is it's no longer, I don't have I'm not directing that. I am now, other people are either giving me that or taking that away from me. And I don't like that feeling. And I'm sure that is some sort of childhood trauma that you're probably.
We touch on it because I just, it's not that I like people to see that because I always say childhood trauma is a memory that's manifesting in the moment, right?
Mhm.
So that's really what it is. And a lot of people go back, focus more on the memory than in the moment, right? So it's just the mindfulness to know that this is a memory. At some point in my life, I felt out of control of the circumstances. And that made me, and you used the word vulnerable, which a lot of people think it's a bad word, right? And we'll get to how you practice overcoming this in a second, but it's also showing you it's okay to want control. It is okay to want to feel like you are in control. It is okay to have the feeling. So first off, don't be ashamed that I want to feel safe because really that's what you're seeking is safety within yourself when things are out of your control because there is a very powerful memory within you of feeling unsafe, right? So first off, it's identifying why is it I want to feel in control or always want to why and it part of it is realizing that again the hierarchy of needs, the number one need for anyone before food is safety. And people don't realize that if I don't work on my safety, I cannot create food. You know what I mean? Like if we go back to the beginning of man, the first thing man had to do was find safe shelter from the elements, from the outside world. So it is okay that I like to say no one taught you that what safety felt like. The reason why I'm saying that is you have to work on cultivating your own safety from within, and that will allow you to release the perceived control because you really have no control. And I'm going to tell you why. You have to face the fact, and you're like, I know this. It's how I actually process this in a way that I understand. So, in every moment, you have to remind yourself you're safe. You're not in fight or flight mode because you have used your skill sets to actually create safety already within your environment. In this moment, when you want to control how someone responds to you, you want to control the plan, the order of what's going on, right? It's because you're in fight or flight mode, where it's like, I got to fight to get something, or I need to kind of like, this isn't going how I wanted to go, so I got to like go elsewhere. So again, the unsafe feeling is coming from a memory. Now, we don't have to go into the memory. It's just the acknowledgement right now that me wanting to control this, it's me wanting to feel safe. It has nothing to do with control. Sometimes people don't realize me wanting to have a certain amount of money in the bank has nothing to do with abundance. It's me wanting to feel safe because there's a belief system within me that says if I have $10, hypothetical, $10 in the bank, I am safe. But it does not mean that you are safe. It's just a belief you have from a memory. So sometimes for a lot of people, they seek financial abundance because they believe that's what safety is. And then life happens and it's taken away again. You're like, what's going on? I tried so hard at my career. I'm doing everything right. Why am I not getting what I want? Because everything starts with the feeling of it. And if you are pursuing material or things outside of you to feel safe, no matter what you do, you're not going to feel safe. So again, it comes down to acknowledge in this moment, it's a memory. For some people, $10 is a lot of money. For some people, $10 is nothing. And I use a ridiculous amount like $10 to really kind of let you see that no matter what, that's why there are people that have a lot of money and aren't happy. And there are people who are living with nothing and they're happy because it's not the thing, right? It's the feeling within yourself. And that I'm afraid to be vulnerable. What you're doing is you're not realizing that vulnerability takes away fear. Because when I shine a light on my strengths, my weaknesses, and who I am, no one can dim that. So when you're running from, I need to relax and work on my safety because I need to show, I need to do this, you're not realizing that you're not creating it within, so it manifests without. And that's the best way to explain it. If you're safe within, you'll make decisions, better decisions that create more safety. If I'm abundant within and I don't need to see my bank account, or if I'm love within, I don't need to have it outside of me to make me feel that. But the irony is, the more safe you are, you get where I'm coming from? The more safe you feel, the more safety you create for yourself. Because when a little thing that's out of your control happens, you put your trust not in things being out of control, you put your trust in your control to respond differently to what's going on. So therefore, no matter what, because life, is going to throw a whole bunch of curveballs. So
Mhm.
first off, it's never what you think it is. It's about what you need,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, as you're speaking, and I'm just trying to like put my finger on, what does that safety look like, and looking within, and, you know, finding that within myself, just like what does that look like? And I'm sitting here, I'm like, it's always because I don't necessarily remember things like how, but I always remember how a person or something made me feel. It's a feeling that I always associate with objects or people. So if I don't feel like you are trustworthy, or you are a genuine person, or if those feelings come up with me and you're with me, not that you've necessarily done something today, it could have been something very minute, or it's just I honestly just may not even remember what it was years ago. I just can't shake the feeling that this is how I react towards you. And in order for me to protect myself, to feel safe, I if I feel like you're untrustworthy, or you're not a genuine person, then I will always have my barriers up for you. Like I wouldn't feel comfortable breaking that down. And it's because part of it is mostly because I am not working on making sure that I stay safe. Like, what does that look for me? And make sure my barriers are always, it's just protection as opposed to walls that I'm building in between relationships that I have.
and
So,
who do you think suffers from the walls?
other people, because they don't get to see my sunshine.
Well, but you are the one that's blocking the
Yeah,
blessings of
yeah.
people. Because, okay, so because you're saying it's like, because you're not safe within yourself, what you're not realizing is the universe, God is always giving us feedback. So if you keep meeting people with their walls up and not trusting others, it's a reflection of you not trusting who you are. So when you meet people that are open and are vulnerable, it's letting you know you're progressing, because that's what you're attracting. So when you're attracting people that are, their walls are up just like your walls are up, and you got two neighbors with two high walls, but y'all are just speaking through the walls and communicating, nobody knows that you might have some extra, like, tomatoes in your garden that you could give to your neighbor, or your neighbor could have, because there's no, like, I am not open enough to
Mhm.
fully express the generosity of who I am, because you're sounding like someone that's open and willing and generous and kind and loving. And when I love to 100, but I'm protecting myself because everybody I meet is loving me to 70, right? But if you love you to 100, it doesn't matter if they're giving you 70, 50, or 20, because you're realizing that I know, because then at that point, there's a difference between walls and boundaries. And people don't realize that when you put up a wall to protect yourself, you're keeping the good stuff out. But if you set boundaries, you determine what good stuff you want in, what bad stuff you want out, because there's a total defined difference, and you have to know it within yourself. Am I putting up a wall, and am I always like, am I gonna see if I can trust you first? Or I'm going to trust you, and if I see you crossing a boundary, I create the boundary. Total difference,
Mhm.
right? Because it'd be like, why would you trust somebody first? Because if you are going in with a preconceived of how people are and what they're going to do to you, guess what? That's what you're bringing. So everyone I meet, they're neutral to me. But you do something that is leaning towards, this is not good for me, boundary.
Yeah.
Totally different. So everyone, everything that you're going through and how you're responding to people, how you're putting, everyone's doing that because just like you're trying to figure out how to be the best version of you,
Mm-hmm.
they're trying to do it. You may be putting in more work than them. So it's not for us to judge how much work that person is doing or not doing. It's for me to do my work so I live the best life and align with people or my tribe.
Mm-hmm.
That's yes, I see you talking. You're like you just took I'm sorry, a deep breath like yeah, yeah. So that's it. So, okay, from there you lead the next. Like, do you need me to clarify like how to lose control, how to lose control? But, we could go more in depth. What's the next question or
Yeah. Thank you. I like as you were speaking, and part of it is like I don't think I have a problem coming to you or anyone that I meet open. I feel like I do that, but and if you're close to me or you get close to me, and I give you many opportunities to show me who you are. And then at that point, because I didn't set, and that's probably what my issue is, you push the boundary and then you keep pushing that boundary further and further, but I say I don't like it, but I still allow you, to continue a little bit, and then you go a little bit a step further from the first, second, third time, and then at some point I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, this is too much for me, and then now the wall is up because I didn't set the boundary and I didn't follow. Maybe the boundary was there, but I didn't follow through to make sure that you don't continue past that. And I allowed you to continue pushing me a little bit. And then I like freeze up. Like it's done now. Like I can't deal with you anymore.
so what you're saying, because I like, my thing is reading between the lines, is
Mhm.
the people or the situation that also made me feel unsafe and unsecure also didn't help me learn to identify what feels safe to me. Like what I'm trying to say is when we go through a situation where we did not have a like enough safety or the understanding of safety, what
Mhm.
you're not realizing it, you also didn't learn how to, because you don't feel safe. I'm trying to articulate it and connect it, and I know what I'm saying, but the words weren't coming out. But when you don't feel safe,
Mhm.
you also don't know what a safe environment or a safe person feels like. So when you work on that safety within yourself, immediately off the bat, you're gonna know what a safe person feels like. They don't have to get to the point where the person is crossing your boundaries, because you're gonna sense even before, right, that this person isn't a safe space for me.
Mhm.
But because you don't know, you're still seeking it, and you're allowing them in
Yeah.
because you're still trying to figure out there's something here that, because in every situation, people always reflect certain things we like about ourselves in the person, or, I meet someone and this person makes me see that I am a good creator, or I am good, or I'm capable at certain things, right?
Mhm.
But you're not, and but what you really want, because it's something that's important to us, is to feel safe with that person, safe expressing yourself, safe being vulnerable. But if you have to like see if they cross the line, it's because you're not familiar with it. So I like to equate it to, are you going out and selling yourself to people, or are you going out and being yourself? That's the difference. When you're safe within yourself, you go out and you sell yourself, meaning I am out there now meeting people and I am justifying to you why we should be cool. You understand what I'm saying? Versus going out there and being unapologetically you, because you're safe within you, and you're safe enough knowing that my tribe is gonna come when they come, right? So
Absolutely. I've never thought about it in that way. And yeah, no, I don't know. That's exactly what it is. I probably am going more with the this is why we should be, connected or friends or whatever the relationship is. And I'm just giving you all the qualities that are great with me that you can benefit from, especially if because I also feed off other people. So if your energy is like, you yourself are vulnerable and you have issues, I go over and beyond to try to overcompensate to make you feel comfortable. And that's just that's just me, that I don't even know how to, because even within that, I'm just like, I don't, not necessarily, you may have your own issues, but sometimes I find it difficult. I take it on. I feel like I have to take it on, or like I can support, help control the situation or the narrative a little bit better, and let me help you, guide you through that process, as opposed to, because yeah, I haven't looked internal to myself yet to really figure out, what does my safety really look like for me? And from that, I could resonate and then shine out from inward outwards so that others around me can actually just see me being my authentic self, so that I would be able to, like, you can now be in my circle and you can somehow learn just by being around, as opposed to me taking up extra efforts to do what I think you need or want in order for you to
You,
better yourself or life.
I want you to remember this. And I think this is like the fourth video I've said it in. And I think it's a thing with others. There's a difference between saving people and supporting people. Now, and I don't think I have to, you got that when I said it. It is not your job to save anyone. Every single person. It could be your mother. It could be your child. It is every individual's responsibility. A lot of people may not understand this. There's a difference between saving them and supporting them. You can support someone through their healing, but it is their responsibility to heal. You cannot save them into their healing. Sometimes we want their healing more than they want their healing for
Yes,
themselves. And if
100%.
you are out there saving everybody else, all
Mhm.
it does is drown you, because you're taking on their hurt. Besides all the stuff you have to do to figure out how to thrive in this world, you're taking on their work. In they're gonna get sick of me. You're eating their food. Eat your food. Experience your life. You cannot eat someone's food to nourish them, to get them feeling better. You
Mhm.
have to do that for yourself. And when you save yourself, guess what? You become a beacon to other people on how to save themselves. You mentioned, and I know this was off camera because this we did it. You went to a seminar that had women that were who probably saved themselves. And what did it do for you? It inspired you to save you.
Mhm.
So no matter how many people have come into your life to try to say you need to do better and all of the, you have to make the decision just like everybody else. So you can support people, and the best way to support them is be an example, be an inspiration. And if you're not an example, you're not an inspiration, but you are envied, that lets you know you're not part of my tribe, because your tribe, the people around you who want you to be better, they're going to acknowledge it, they're going to see it. You did not have to sell that to them.
Yeah.
And part of why we sell ourselves to others is because, besides not being safe, we were taught that everything we need is outside of us. So if people outside of me see me, then I'll see myself.
Yeah.
But that's not it. Everything is inside of us, because you're the one seeing colors. No one sees color for you.
Yeah.
You're the one hearing music. No one hears music for you. You're the one feeling your feelings. So stop running and trying to reduce others how they're feeling because that's making you feel better, right? You understand? Because it's like, and also besides teaching us that outside is where we get everything, they also taught us that everyone else matters more than we matter. So
Yeah.
why going and selling yourself? Because if you see me, then I will matter.
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works, right? So we're going to go back to the control thing now. Stop. You have spent a life, I was about to say, stop controlling others. But I think you got that, right? But you've spent your life creating an illusion of control by trying to control everything around you.
Mhm.
When the ultimate control is controlling everything within you, because then you control your response, you control your resilience, you control how much you create from within. You align with everything you're seeking.
Mhm. I'm sitting here and I'm like, and there's been moments in life that I've had some sort of epiphanies like this, and I'm like, be in control of my own emotions and how I react to people and situations, and that is the only thing I really have control over. At the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I'm really controlling it or I'm just biting my tongue. Like, am I not just saying things that are really bothering me, or am I just holding back from like being, because when someone says something or does something, I'll just like, if I said something and you just didn't care about it, okay, fine, I'll just walk away, but it's still eating me up inside. It's still bothering me. And I don't like that feeling either.
So this is another thing. When you cannot express how you're feeling and how you're thinking in that moment, someone said to you, deny how I feel. And when I deny how I feel, I don't respond to someone for crossing the line or boundaries, right? So there's multiple. So what you're real. So you're not realizing that there's multiple things you were taught that is affecting you. So I will say this: when choosing your peace sometimes is more powerful than reacting. I say reacting versus responding to the person. Reacting to the person in that moment, blowing up, cursing them out, whatever it is. Sometimes choosing your peace, because when you are bubbling up on the inside, you and you it's either you want to express what you want to say what you have to say and let the person know that they hurt you and how you feel, and you want to tell them about themselves, you want to tell them all this kind of stuff, right? You could go that route. If you keep going that route, you're going to realize it doesn't matter, because people are going to do to you what they want to do to you. So you have to choose, okay, yes, you could try to say something to them. You actually don't feel better, right? Like I think people think, oh, if I let them know about how bad they are, you know what I mean? I show them about themselves. They'll continue to do it, because when we react to them in a certain way, nobody's hearing what you're saying. They're just now coming back at you and you're going back and forth. So it gets no one anywhere. You have to ask yourself why I need to stop caring about how that person sees me and feels about me. Because that's why you're one, wanting to say something, right? But two, you could respond and you could let them know, but you have to also not need a response from them. You could choose the most eloquent, calm words and say to you, you've hurt me. And why do we want to tell someone they hurt us? Because we want to feel seen and acknowledged, right? Right? Think about it. But a lot of times no one likes to hear that they hurt someone, so they're defensive and they deny that they just hurt you. So it's not necessarily giving you the satisfaction that you're seeking. So it leads to the question in every situation, right? That I always tell you need to ask the question, what do I want? Am I wanting to say something to them because I want them to see that they hurt me? Or do I want to work on that person hurt me in this way? Is it because they didn't see me? Is it because they were truly mean to me? Is it because I can control their perception of me? So you have to see, why am I responding to them? You have to, because it's your experience. And no matter what you say to that person, sometimes, yes, you have to stand up for yourself. I'm not saying that, but you have to know what you're standing up for before you stand up. Because sometimes that's what it is. If it is that I am trying to fight for this person to see me in a better light, there's nothing you can do to change their perception of how they see you. So you could go and try to be good, do good for this person to see you or respond in a certain way. You understand what I'm saying? Or you could just say, I could continue this beyond this moment, or I could choose me, my peace, and see what got triggered there, work on it, and definitely put up that boundary. And I don't have to interact with this person anymore because there's nothing you can do to change someone's perception. You have to be okay with being the villain in people's stories.
I'm I
Okay.
I know I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with people thinking negative of me or thinking that I have, I'm a bad person. Like I don't like the feeling of somebody's like upset with me. It really doesn't sit well with me at
Because
all.
it has
I
nothing.
don't find peace with that.
Get over thinking you can control how people see you. You could be the absolute best friend to someone for 20 years, and you do one thing, and that person is stuck on that one thing you did and forgot the 20 years of friendship. And
Mhm.
that has nothing to do with you. You gave, when we are at peace with who we are, and we see ourselves. It does not matter how someone else sees you. Everyone is going to have a different, no matter if you're the exact same person to 10 people, you're going to be the villain in at least one person's story. And it has to not matter because how when you focus on that villain, that person, and you're trying to change their mind,
Mhm.
you're being unkind to yourself. Think about it. How many boundaries do you allow that person across because you're working so hard for them to see you as a good person?
Yeah.
How much of you do you neglect when you're trying to make the 1 out of 10? How much of the 9 good who see the good in you, you're neglecting because you're so focused to try to change the mind of one person? Why do you think people see you as a villain? It's because if they didn't see themselves in a negative light, they would not see you in a negative light. No matter who has done what to me. It may sound like it took a lot. It didn't mean that I hated certain people in my life, but I had to get to a place where we're all trying to figure it out. We're all trying to survive. We're all trying to find love. We're all trying to thrive. And
Mhm.
I'm not going to stay focused on how you see me. I'm going to focus on how I see me and appreciate the people around me that see me. I'm not going to focus on trying to change your mind because what that does means it takes you out of yourself. It takes the focus on that person. And when you focus on somebody else, that person sees you as a villain or someone who did something wrong. I will use the example. If you have a best friend that you pick up the phone all the time and you call this person, she's always there. And the one time she's not picking up the phone,
Mhm.
where's your mind going to go?
Something else is more important than me or our friendship or
Oh,
relationship, if you say.
that's what you're, see, and it's because, You're thinking she's prioritizing something else over me because you think that way. You know where my mind goes? This is not like my friend. She always answers, I hope she's okay. SOS, are you okay? Are you okay? Because guess what? I'm not focused on this moment pattern. I'm focused on the 20-year pattern that she's always there for me. So when you said she's prioritizing something else over you, that's a reflection. This is the exact point I'm making of you prioritizing everybody else over you. So that's why you think that thought.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? If you're a villain in someone else's story, they're thinking that negative thought about themselves. That's why bullies are just projecting their unhappiness or whatever it is going on onto someone else. It has nothing to do with you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're thinking my friend is prioritizing, is because you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Take a deep breath. However you're thinking, if you're not thinking, if
Yeah.
you're thinking a certain way, you got to reflect it back. If I'm thinking she's doing that, I do that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I prioritize other people over myself. My thing is, okay, my friend answers me, what's wrong? SOS. Do I need to drive by her house because she lives alone? Do you understand where I'm coming from? Not in a stalker kind of way. I'm concerned for
Yeah.
her safety because she answers me. And then I will keep calling because I'm a concerned friend. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to know, and I don't need a long explanation why you're Nancy. Are you okay? Yes, good. That's all I needed to know. I didn't know. I don't want to know if you were in a meeting. I just want to know you're okay
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
because it's not about me, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I, that I honestly don't know how. Maybe I need some tools on that, on how to get to that point of realization, actualization. I don't know. Because like, yeah, that's just not how my brain works right now. That's not where I'm at.
So, because you've used your logics to create the life you want, meaning logically, these are the steps, this is the control, and you have not used your emotional intelligence to create the life you're wanting, your job is to focus and build your emotional intelligence muscle versus your logical muscle, because logics is it's control, saying this is the steps, this is how it goes, this, you don't know how you feel, you don't know how you want to feel on a daily basis. You focus on what I need to do today, this is the
Yep.
task, you're
Yeah.
great at checking it off and all of that good stuff, and you're not checking off how you're feeling. And I need you to understand how you feel. When you feel good, you create good in your life. Now, you said something very important in this conversation. You said, I don't go back on certain stances and situations. I remember how I felt in that moment. So, emotional intelligence is trying to emerge out of you already. And you're not realizing it, but you're putting it down because someone said to you, it's not good to feel your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I need you to produce. And to produce means it's task master or task, do. But what people don't realize is feelings actually dictate the quality of what's being done. And you don't realize when you nurture and cultivate something and give it like love and attention, it blossoms. But if you're not doing that for yourself, you're not going to thrive, you're not going to blossom because you're not doing that. So your job is to work on your emotional intelligence. You're very capable at getting stuff done, but you need to understand where your inspiration is coming from. You need to understand if what you're getting done is giving you pleasure or not giving you pleasure. How do you create a life of pleasure If you do, and I say pleasure, I say joy, I say satisfaction, I say all those words, a
Mhm.
fulfilling life, a satisfying life, a love relationship filled life. How are
Mhm.
you gonna, it's like I say, how are you gonna trust others if you don't trust yourself? How are you going to create this life that you truly desire if you're don't even know if you're enjoying what you're creating?
And I don't normally enjoy, in the moment, I'll be like, great, succeeded, you did the university thing, you got your project management, you did the social work thing, you got the job or the government job, you did these things, you achieved something, you accomplished something, and then you're like, okay, but what's next? And it's always what's next because you're not finished yet. This can't be the destination or the end point, right? So you can't like, yeah, celebrate in a sense, like good job, pat on your back, but you got to keep going. So it's like, okay, you need to set a plan for the next stage, or what you need to, okay, now it's family. Are you working on that? Do you have a partner? When do you find someone that is good enough, and what does good enough look like, or what are you willing to accept? And I don't know. It's just, yeah, there's a bunch of lists. I have a
What
lot
do
of
you think the
that.
destination is? Because you just used that word.
So I know I listen and I read enough self-help to know the journey to happiness is your journey is you find happiness on your way, on your journey, and it's not a destination, it's your journey is your, like, you should be finding that on the whole way. But really and truly, that's also my destination, whatever that looks like. And I don't even, and to tell you the truth, I don't know what it looks like. I just know I'll hopefully know it when I see it, when I feel it, when I'm in it.
So one, the destination is death. So if, I mean, I like to be blunt sometimes. The
Yeah.
destination is death.
Mhm.
So we're always in a rush to die. It's like, meaning we're always not satisfied. We're always like on to the next, on to the next. The destination is death, right?
Mhm.
So once you're like, okay, now that I know that's the destination, because we're not infinite souls, we're just connected to infinite intelligence, and we'll get to that in a second. But since I know that that's what I'm working towards, okay, how there has to be more to this quote unquote journey that they're talking about, right? So, one, the journey, part of the journey is unlearning what we've learned to keep us from enjoying and creating the most that we can create on the journey,
Mhm.
right? So a lot of people don't realize, based on how a lot of us grew up, there's a lot of unlearning. Now, that means you don't have to actually go seek what you need to unlearn,
Mhm.
right? You literally just have to be present enough to see what's showing up that is keeping you from your desires. So I asked the question, what do you want? And you need to take some time and really think about what you want and how what I want looks like without limits. If I had my own genie in a bottle and I want to say, this is what I want. Of course, a lot of people are going to start with things. I want to be a millionaire. And then once they start like compiling, a home, that safety thing. I want a nice home. I want a car, transportation. You list those things, and then you realize that there is quantity of life and quality of life. And when you ask yourself, what do I want? What kind of quality of life? Because those things are quantity things. And it's easy to get those. People don't realize it's easy to build the quantity of things around you based on your skill levels. But what keeps some people from getting more or less is actually the mindset, the thing that comes along that you're meant to unlearn, that says you're not deserving of $20 million, or to keep them small, or you're not deserving of whatever, right? But the quality of life is also an important aspect of what you're wanting. I want to, from what you said, I want to have amazing, reliable, supportive people around me.
Mhm.
It could be two, because quantity, or it could be 200. So that's where you have to determine the quantity of the thing, right? But you also have to determine the quality of that thing. So, how do you determine the quality of things? The quality of things comes from how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
You want friends that make you feel seen, heard, supported, loved, that no matter if vulnerable, in the sense that if I fail, they're there to like encourage me to keep going, right? So it really, sometimes when you look at it, it doesn't matter the quantity of things you compile. It really is, it comes down to those key things that make you feel good. But what
Mhm.
makes me feel good is different to what makes you feel good. So you have to sit down as you go through your day. You're gonna be adding quality things until you're 99. So
Mm.
you don't have to figure it out. It actually comes to you based on life experiences. So for
Mhm.
example, when you were out selling yourself, I use that example, it actually made you desire, because selling myself does not feel good, right? So it
Mhm.
made me desire that I want to be seen. I want to be with people that are there for me and all of that kind of stuff, right? So that's why I mean by that's the journey. The journey is when something comes up that doesn't feel good, it gives me an opportunity to find the part, to find the part, that the opposite of it, or the other side of it, that feels good. So people feel like, oh, I got to figure out, I got to like your list and your all of that kind of stuff. So give yourself some grace, because that's the journey, figuring out what feels good and pushing it and getting more and more and more of that in your life, right? So it's like you don't have to go unlearn all these. You don't have to seek. You knew when you went to that seminar, that, or that conference, that it felt good there, right? And I want more of that goodness. So
Yeah.
you automatically created something to attain on your journey.
Mhm.
You don't have to go do these grand, your purpose is to feel good, and every day work on that emotional muscle. So you said project management. So how do you get to the ultimate in your career? The quality, the quantity of certain things. What in project management you love? What in hospitality you love? And once you identify that, how do I tenfold this? How do I apply for another job that gives me all the parts of it I love? You get
Mhm.
where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
And when you love something and it's easy, you do better and better, and you excel and excel. So when you have those to-do lists and those sheets and this, that's not getting you where you're actually trying to go in your career. When you think about it, right?
Mhm.
It's like it's you pursuing the part you love. And it's easy. And guess what? When you love something, people see you're good at it. She's good at it. And you're going further. So that in itself creates that momentum and that quantity and excelling in your career,
Mhm.
because the quality creates is actually the seed to quantity, if that makes sense. But we've been taught pursue the quantity over the quality.
Mhm.
So it's about, even when you're dealing with health, it's about the quality of life, right? When you think about it, it's all about your quality of your health. It's about the quality of your mental, your emotional, your spiritual. It's not how much faith, how much time you symbolically go and pray and go to, like, I'm not anti anyone doing a lot of those things, but I'm saying it's not about how many times, it's about the quality. Because you could do something one time and it has a tenfold effect versus doing it 10 times and you're not getting anywhere.
Mhm. Mhm.
So for you, I think and even with control, I will tell you this. I had a conversation, you said, if you want to, and it was one of the clips I posted, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Yeah.
So you can't control everything, because the best way to make you understand it as a logical mind person is your brain is only capable of perceiving this moment. Your brain can think or try to perceive or predict how something is going to happen.
Mhm.
It can only perceive what you're doing in the moment. It cannot predict the future. When we worry, or when we're like when we worry, we're actually predicting in the negative. When we're using our imagination and focusing on our possibilities, we're trying to predict the solution. Does that make sense? So your brain is not capable of creating solutions. It could only try to predict based on your limited knowledge and
Right.
experience.
Yeah.
So you need to recognize that you solve nothing. All you're doing is traveling and trying to predict the future. You solve nothing. You know who solves everything?
Um,
Infinite intelligence. Exactly. Who is everywhere. There's that quote that everybody knows, they're in rooms. You are not in speaking your voice through someone else,
yes.
having that person call you to give you the job because you showed the love of what you're doing. So
Mhm.
you have no control over how things will happen. You
Mhm.
only have control over your response, not
Mhm.
your reaction. Because when you react, you're not thinking. When you
Mhm.
respond, you're thoughtfully like aligning. You're taking a moment and you're like, okay, it's when you respond, you're taking in consideration of what you want,
Mhm.
how you want to feel. Remember, I talked about in that situation when you want to tell someone, hey, you're thinking, what do I want in this moment? Do I truly want that? Do I truly care how they see me? Or do you understand where I'm coming from? So your response should be based on, how do I want to feel?
Yeah.
How do I want to feel?
How do I want to feel?
In
I
every
just want peace, like just internal peace, just and that's what it is, peace within myself, so that my life, I could just continue to just live and not be worried about other people, their emotions, or how they feel or view me, or what is the next step in life that I have to like take, or where is this going to lead me, or if this doesn't happen, what are my other options? Like, I just want to be able to like actually just like enjoy that journey, like
so
be at peace within that journey.
Besides how you're wanting to feel, and we need to wrap up because I just realized the conversation was going so good and I have to wrap up this episode.
Yes.
How do you want to feel right now? Because this is the only moment I'm experiencing. This is the only moment that matters.
Mhm.
And if is this a memory controlling this moment, or am I trying to predict the future? Is that what's controlling
Yeah.
this moment? So you want peace of mind. Peace of mind is being in the moment, being mindful enough in the moment to recognize that circumstances don't matter. I matter. This moment matters. And how I feel matters most. So, all you have to do, if you're constantly going forward or replaying the whatever, You have to individually work on what worked for you to bring you to this moment. Everybody's different.
Mhm.
I am a visual person. You could be, you say you like to write things down. So
Mhm.
write down how you're feeling so you can see it in front of you. I find that when people write down how they, well, for me, when you write down how you feel and you're going towards the negative, we don't like to look at ourselves at negative in on paper. So we
Mhm.
try to change our train of thought to a more positive uh, way of thinking because we don't like, see, I am angry right now. And then you're going to write, yeah, I'm angry, but you know what? I'm going to work on feeling better because we don't like to see ourselves in a negative light. So a lot of people don't like to journal because of that. If in the moment you're a hearing person, you're auditory person, to bring you to the moment, listen to music, listen to something positive that would change your how you're feeling in the moment, or feed yourself through your ears in a way that helps you like bring it back to yourself.
Mhm.
If you
Mhm.
are a touch person, go do something. Like my mother likes to knit. I mean, it's my like, but for you, I see you have like snap it. You know, like some they tell you like snap it. Just whatever it is, bring
Mhm.
yourself back to the moment. And it's a muscle. Just keep practicing it because you're gonna continue to live how you're living, but it takes some time for you to just be like, find what works for you. It's the same thing I say with manifestations. People don't realize we all manifest in different ways. Somebody
Mhm.
might say to you, hey, go create a vision board. You may not be a visual person. You
Mhm.
might be a hearing person. Record your voice saying, you know
Mhm.
what, I'm going to do this. I'm going to, like, whatever works for you, but you have to do the work to know yourself so you can guide yourself in the moment. But just say, doesn't matter, I matter. How I feel matters. That person that just angered me, they don't matter. I am angry for a reason. I need to do the work to find the reason why I am angry. And I'm going to end it off right there. And I just want to say thank you for everyone that's listening to this episode. And as always, many blessings to you.